We are tonight's entertainment.
You can't handle the truth.
The fire rises.
Pizza time.
You're a wizard, Harry.
So it begins.
You know how much I sacrifice?
You think that's air you're breathing?
Groovy.
I don't have friends. I got family.
We are Sex People! 1, 2, 3, 4!
Craft Services.
Hey, Trent.
Hi, Parth.
Good to see you.
You too.
Been
What have
eating
you been
anything?
eating? We have
Jinx,
a film
double
podcast.
jinx.
What have you been eating, Jinx? Hi.
Well, Trent, as we both entered this Zoom having things to talk about that we had eaten previous to the Zoom, and then over the process of getting ready for this episode, we both were hungry and had things to eat, so we both actually know what the other person ate. So this is all just for you, the listener. We're not really being candid Cathys right now, but
give me both.
Yeah.
Give me the before and what I saw already.
Sure. So I'll give you what I had most recently. It was 2 Eggo waffles because I was like, we're about to talk for like 45 minutes to an hour. So like, probably be good to not feel the grumblies in my stomach. But prior to that, Sophia and I saw Bring Her Back. Wink, wink.
Wait, I also plan to see that tomorrow morning. I wonder what the sudden urgency for us to see the movie is.
No, I've just heard it looks good. So after the showing of the movie, I was like, Sophia, I'll get you a little treat. And she said, or rather, before the showing of the movie, I was like, oh, maybe we should get a little treat afterwards. And then Sophia was like, I have an idea, but I'm not going to tell you until after. And I was like, well, that's unnecessarily hyping it up, I guess. But anyways, the point was we went to Burger King and got the Hershey pie or like and it was good.
Cool. Me, before what you didn't see, I saw you eat your Eggo waffle and you saw me eat some tortilla chips and some salsa. But before, what I had off cam, off mic, my dad, his name is Kurt, and my whole life, like several times a week, he's made what we jokingly call a K-cup. It's vanilla yogurt, granola, sliced up banana, and some honey. And I was inspired by him, made one of those, and it was great. And then afterwards, I stole some of my new roommate's double stuffed Oreos to, just set the tone for how I'm going to steal their double stuffed Oreos moving forward.
I guess we should say, just briefly before we move on to the rest of the episode, this is the first episode we are recording from Trent's new apartment. Or rather, I'm still in my parents' basement, but Trent has moved to Brooklyn in a new apartment.
But yeah, the connection wasn't good at my desk, so now we're in the living room because we're trying new things, and hopefully it kind of works so far.
Yeah, I think it's working great, but what I think would make it work even better is if we cue the intro. Welcome back to Craft Services, where we talk about the movies. Each week we talk about a film and hopefully have a crew member of that film to talk with us about their experience working on the picture. But this week we're doing something a little bit different.
Yeah, this week it's more of a celebration of all of the past guests, but this week...
Come on.
It's celebration. But also, it's not only a celebration of our wonderful past guests who have made the entire show possible, as the show has taken shape and continues to take shape, and the focus becomes more and more on our wonderful guests and less on Parth and I. But today's also a celebration of Parth and I.
It's true. So, exactly 5 years ago, as of the day of this recording, we uploaded our very first episode, and we've been going ever since.
And that episode was Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. The two of ours, just general thoughts and discussion on the subject. I listened to about 20 minutes of it today.
Wow, Trent, you made it far further into it than I could have.
You tried? Oh, you didn't try?
No, I didn't try this time, but every now and then I'll be like, oh, it's kind of funny how long we've been doing this. Like, I wonder, It's funny because like the episodes that we recorded like at this point like 4 or 5 years ago are kind of a funny capsule of where our lives were at that point. So sometimes I'm like, I wonder what I was doing back then. So I'll like listen to be like, oh, I kind of remember when I ate a burrito or whatever. But the Force Awakens episode, which by the way, when we were trying to figure out what we should do for our 5-year anniversary episode, and one of the thoughts that Trent and I, sort of jokingly came up
That
with
we
this together.
almost seriously agreed on.
Almost agreed on was to do a reboot and to just talk about The Force Awakens again, because The Force Awakens is just a reboot of Star Wars.
And also during like one of the first spoken words of our podcast history is me confidently being like, so we're gonna cover The Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and last but not least, The Rise of Skywalker, which we never got around to.
But the thing is, it would have been last and least, so we never got around to it.
We never got a guess for it, and we never got around to it, so I joked for a second, maybe we could talk about that, and then we were both like, no.
Well, yeah, the thought and concept of like redoing that discussion was horrible, and having to talk about Star Wars, while fun in moments with friends is nice, but recording a podcast with your thoughts and feelings about Star Wars just sort of seems like a hellish thing to do.
A quick takeaway, though, on me listening to 20 minutes of our first episode. I intended to listen to the whole thing while I was out and about, and then I got about 20 minutes in, I was like, I got the gist.
Yeah.
And the gist was, I was talking a lot, I was saying a lot of words, I was being kind of mean to my buddy Parth. Or just kind of...
Didn't your mom get mad at you or something?
Well, that popped into my mind today. I was like, fuck, I've gotten old and wise, because after one of our first episodes, my mom was like, you've got to be nicer to Parth.
Which is funny, because I feel like it's more of a thing for me to be mean to you.
It's funny how things have changed over our long relationship.
Although you like to make fun of me for not knowing all your pop culture references.
Sure, but you make fun of me for things also more just a more far-reaching.
Sure, like
umbrella
about
of
like your
things to make fun of.
character. Yeah,
Character, my actions, my looks.
Trent, I would never say anything bad about your looks. So cute. But to get us back on track, we thought we had settled into something when we joined the Zoom, and now this episode is something different. So originally what we were going to do was do like here's our top 5 guests, and we're going to do it like a draft so that each of us had 5 different people.
We like drafting here. Fun.
Yeah.
Makes
Well,
it fun.
we do
Makes it a
that for
game.
end of year episodes now. We started that last year and it worked out pretty well. And I was like, it could be a cool way to talk about some cool guests that we've, gotten to talk about or gotten to talk with.
So that was Parth's big contribution. And then the spin I put on it about 15 minutes ago is I was like, rather than us both just being like, and for my 4th cinematographer, I'll select X, Y, and Z, because we've been privileged with, specifically, I'd say in the cinematographer, production designer, and editor department, we sort of honed in. That's sort of our sweet spot.
Yeah.
But then I thought, okay, let's do more of a dream team situation. And Parth and we haven't had many directors, and Parth said, we're the director. And then we're basically picking our crew of people who were nice enough to come on our show in the past. Yeah,
and so we are going to choose an actor, a DP, a production designer, an editor, and we've said 2 random department heads, but I got a killer selection. I selected a few in case you selected some. So if I'll choose 2, and then after the draft is done, I'll say who else I would want.
And one rule I clarified with Parth before we got on, for our repeat guests, it's not by the episode, it's by the guests. So those lucky enough to be in the 2-timers club, there's some extra value there with your purchase, But
yeah, I mean, how do we decide who goes first?
Here, there's some coins here. I can grab one if that works for you.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, heads or tails?
Heads.
It's heads.
Hey.
Okay.
So what is the order?
Are we snaking?
So like by snaking you mean me, then you, then me, then you?
No, it would be you, me, you. Me.
Yeah. That's what we should do. Yeah, because otherwise I would get the first pick of every department. You know what I mean?
This levels it out, even though with more people, the snake becomes longer and more interesting. But here it's like a short little stubby snake.
So my pick for actor is our old buddy, our old pal, Jefferson White. So we got Jefferson White, who we got him for an interview for Civil War, but he's Jimmy on Yellowstone. He was also in this movie Eileen. He's a Hellboy, the Crooked Man. He's a big dog and a good friend and a guy that has employed me and been good to me. And we're Jeff and I are. I'd be so happy to direct him in a movie.
What I'll say about Jefferson White, past guest of the show, I almost considered taking it as a sort of olive branch to try to make up for my accidental sass towards him on that episode.
Oh yeah. Should we clear that up on air now?
Oh, me and Jeff have had a few positive interactions between that time in the interim, but that was my first time meeting him, and just a few of my questions accidentally. I was he came on, he was in a tank top, and you and him were broing out, and I was like, oh, casual ep, man, sick. And then I guess I tried to keep it a little too cash and loose. And I was like, what's it like being in a role that's kind of small? And he's literally one of the stars of a show that's gone 9 seasons, so he's doing just fine. But in Civil War, he happens to have this kind of small role in which he does an excellent job. Civil War, one of our favorite movies of the year. Really nothing but positive things to say, but just joking around. Jefferson White, thanks for your time. I wanted to pick you, but I'll pick for my actor Stephen Tobolowsky from our Memento discussion. Rather than picking the other person, we had, I guess I won't pick this person later, Spike Lee's production designer Wynn Thomas for To Five Bloods. That was our second interview ever, and I was like, oh shit, this is pretty serious. And then a few episodes later, Stephen Tobolowsky was on, who I'd seen on TV, and I was like, this is pretty cool. This is even cooler than before, as cool as it has been the whole time. So who do I pick next, Parth? Cinematographer?
Up to you. You can choose whatever department you want.
I've got Stephen Tobolowsky down the barrel of the camera. Quick Stephen Tobolowsky funny story that just popped into my head about that episode. I'll keep it super brief. One of my first ever life near-death experience, hiking through Arches National Park. The sun sets, and I was miles away from blah, 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 from where my parked car was. I'm deep in the element, and then I walked back and got lost off the trail, and while I'm trying to remain calm, draining my phone battery that I would later need very, very bad, I am listening to our recently released interview with Stephen Tobolowsky, and I'm like, we did a pretty good job on this. But then, just hours after that, I was like, am I gonna die out here? And I screamed help at the top of a mountain, at the top of my lungs.
I remember this, yeah.
And no one responded. But then, eventually, some night hikers came along, and they rescued me. Thank you, Stephen Tobolowsky, for your time. I guess I'll pick a cinematographer. So I think my cinematographer pick is going to be Oscar-winning cinematographer of this past Oscar Academy Award ceremony, and that would be Lowell Crawley of The Brutalist. Enjoyed that film, enjoyed the intermission, enjoyed that interview, and it was cool then seeing him a few weeks afterwards win the award.
And I think we've talked to a few Oscar winners, but I believe this is the first time that we've talked to someone
before, right before.
Right before, and then to be like, that's our guy, and then they won.
Yes, and for Honora, another cool movie that
it's so interesting that you bring that up, Trent. But continue.
Okay, well, we're about to give them more credit then. But Honora won a lot of awards that night, and so it was nice to have the one person we interviewed from The Brutalist, that be one of the major awards they took home. Wait, but I brought up Honora. Does that concern you?
Well, it's just interesting because we also interviewed the DP of Honora, and seeing as it's my turn here to pick my DP, I would go with Drew Daniels because I love the look of Honora. It made me really want to see. Did he shoot not Bottle Rocket?
Red Rocket.
Red Rocket. Not the Wes Anderson movie. I know.
Parth, have you schemed it yet? Phoenicianly?
No.
I want to.
So do I. I was just
up
talking
with your
about with Sophia how June 16th there's going to be, or June 13th there's going to be a lot of movies
What's
coming out.
Oh, is
Phoenician Scheme,
is that
The
mass
Materialists.
Wait, what'd you say?
The Materialists.
Mm-hmm.
The Life of Chuck, the Mike Flanagan movie. There's a few cool things coming out. But
this
yeah,
will be good. This year's been kind of rough so far for my AMC A list.
come on, there's been some good stuff.
No, there has been some good stuff. But like, I don't want to see Lilo and Stitch. Like, it'd probably be fun,
No.
but I don't want to take the subway to.
No,
See it?
wow, the subway, the Brooklyn life.
Ugh, I've been here for 6 whole days. Oh, I really.
Well, you're just kind of living your
Parth,
city girl moment.
You wouldn't get it.
You know?
Yeah, precisely. What department head do you want to pick next?
Oh well, just one more.
More about
Another word on Drew Daniels. He was very nice to talk with us, and I think his handheld work is really awesome in that movie.
Yes, something I'll always think of when I rewatch Anora now is him talking about how all the snow was essentially fake, and when the one guard slips on that ice patch, it kind of. Or like Anora, you won the best picture, so I can say this. The ice patch looks kind of fake, and I'll always think of that now. It's totally okay.
You repaired your relationship to Jefferson White, but have now
I fired
destroyed
a
your
shot.
relationship to
Hey,
Nora.
Parth, he's on your team. So
It's true.
He
It's
picked
true.
his side, even though you picked him. And
Yeah,
had nothing
he had
to
no
do
choice in the
with
matter.
it. I love your work, by the way. You'll be recognized by the Academy soon.
So Trent, is it my turn next now? If we're snaking it,
by the order of the snake.
I think I'm gonna go production designer next. And this is another multiple guess. Oh, I'm going Ruth DeYoung. I don't know if that's what.
It was an obvious choice.
But she's been very nice to us. We got to speak with her for our Nope interview. On the Nope interview, if you listen back to it, we asked her like, so like we hear you're like working on Chris Nolan's next movie, Oppenheimer. Like, is it cool? And little did we know how cool it was, because that was both of our favorite movies of 2023. Maybe.
Yeah, seeing that on, I think that was my first time ever going to the
Lincoln Square IMAX.
Yeah, Lincoln Square IMAX, and that is probably the number one most memorable film experience of my life, seeing that. And then later seeing Tenet there, or we saw Oppenheimer, and was Tenet the other movie we saw?
We
there?
saw Oppenheimer, we saw Tenet. We also saw Oppenheimer again.
Interstellar. And Interstellar there was very memorable for me.
Yeah, and you and I randomly ended up seeing Interstellar at the Lincoln Square IMAX the same time, but not like intentionally.
Yes, so now that's happened twice where we went to the same movie unintentionally. Can you name the other?
Oh wow, I really can't.
Not a movie we've covered on the show.
Was it
we were seeing recreationally.
The Robot Girl movie?
Companion. Now on Max, soon to be HBO Max.
Yes. Formerly HBO Max as well.
Yes.
Trent, who's your pick for production designer, since I snatched away your guy?
Yeah, that's a good pick. Both whether they had just done Oppenheimer or Nope, that would have been a pretty good pick, but they did both. This pick is both a movie I very much enjoyed, but also just conversationally. I'll pick production designer Sam Lysenko.
Wow.
From the Judas and the Black Messiah episode. We met the director at a Q&A, and we waited in line and took little cute selfies, and then we interviewed Sam Lysenko, and I believe he said something to the effect of, "He's the man." Yes. He said he's the best. He's the best. It was almost like Robert De Niro being like, best. He's the best. So why I have a particular soft spot for Sam Lysenko. Parth does a lot of the recruiting around here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of, as in 99% of. But Trent got a little bored one weekend and started sending some emails. And how I got the email, and I won't reveal too much information. Sam Lysenko, wonderful guest, had his website was password protected. I, on my first guessed it. I will not reveal what it is, obviously. and was granted access.
And I believe he asked you after we recorded. He was like, "How did you get my email, by the way?" And then you told him, and he found it amusing.
Oh, good. That really justifies me retelling this story then. But yes, for his safety, I won't reveal it. But I just thought, and then I guessed, and then we had the interview. So that was cool. And your production design work on Judas and the Black Messiah, both a movie I enjoy.
Yes, and Uncut Gems. He's a Safdie Brothers guy too.
And now every time I watch Francis Ha, Sam Lysenko during
I forgot about that.
I know, right? Blew my mind. And he's like, you know the character Benji? He was like living with some of them, with Greta Gerwig or Noah Baumbach or someone. And he was like, you know the character Benji? He's based on me and is wearing my clothes in the movie. And now I think about that when I watch Francis Ha, which is one of my fave movies.
I recently went to the premiere of the movie that you and I both worked on, Drink and Be Merry. And one of the actors in it, Griffin Newman, host of the Blank Check podcast, which is a great podcast, wears my sweater in the movie. And there's something very cool about going to a movie and being like, I own that.
It's a good feeling. I mean, speak of the same movie. My contribution you say I worked on the movie. I, quote, PA'd half-heartedly for a few days. My real contribution was I lived in a pretty cool apartment in college, and they shot there for 2 days. And yeah, seeing the apartment and my room and my items intimately portrayed, specifically in sort of a joking fashion, poking fun at some of my personal effects. All good, though. All good in the hood.
You'll forgive, but you won't forget.
Precisely. Okay, Parth, I'm gonna do something.
Oh, no, I know what you're doing.
Do you know exactly what's
happening? I know
happening?
exactly what you're doing.
Do you know how many hours of footage they had, Parth?
870.
Top Gun Maverick. Edited by friend of the show, Eddie Hamilton. We interviewed him. He edited 870 hours of in-flight footage.
Yeah.
Did I pick him
did.
because I love Top Gun Maverick? Yes. Did I pick him because I remember the interview fondly? Yes. Did I pick him despite Parth? Now that I'll never reveal.
Yeah. Well, like Trent, I'll forgive but never forget. But yeah, Eddie Hamilton was like a big get for me because, if you're a listener, you know this, but if you're not, and this is your first episode, weird first episode to join, sort of, but welcome. And also, I'm a huge Tom Cruise fan, and Eddie Hamilton has edited the past 4 Mission Impossibles as well as Top Gun Maverick.
Including the one we just saw, Final Reckoning?
He sure did.
Cool.
And he... really amazing editor. He also edited the Kingsman, the Secret Service, and the Kick-Ass movies. Or maybe just the first one, I can't remember. But he's super cool, super inviting, very much listened to our questions and gave cool answers, and was 100% going to be my pick. So, that's cool. But it's okay.
Parth, I can undo it.
No, Trent. Cue it and undo it.
It's our pod, man. We make our own rules.
No.
I kind of feel bad.
No. I'm only a little resentful.
It was just so much in-flight footage. I'm impressed by the workflow.
It is impressive. They had 870 hours of plane footage.
I'm sitting here looking at our other talented editors, though, and I'm like, I could have had a super talented person and not lost a friend.
You gained Jefferson White, but lost me.
And who else? Insulted someone else. That's fine.
I'm choosing between 2 editors that,
and I think, yeah, I know who I could guess at least. I could guess both of them. You want me to?
Sure, go ahead.
William Hoy and Joe Walker.
So Joe Walker, I think, is going to be my pick. Just because I'd love to talk about, again, we love all of our interviews. And William Hoy, actually, I wasn't thinking about him, but that would have been a great pick. Because that was the Batman interview, which
I'm just on a Batman kick right now, so it's sort of on my mind.
Yes. Podcast that I work for, Eye of the Duck, doing their Batman series right now. About to finish it up.
Trent is feeling the effects of the Eye of the Duck coverage. That's all I'll say.
But yeah, William Hoy was actually very cool guest.
I remember we were just caught up in the Batman moment. Remember, like,
we were
March of that year?
We were literally, and when we did that interview, I had to wrap it up because I was like, I have tickets to go see the Batman for a third time or a second time or something like that.
And remember, like, in the aftermath of that, like, the El Rado Lotto website?
Yes.
Or whatever.
You know what? All due respect to Joe Walker, who, again, doesn't need our respect because he's so highly respected by other people that matter far more than us and is an Oscar-winning editor. I'm going William Hoy. You know what, Trent? You turned me.
I would have thought that... I sort of was mentioning The Undoing after, as a joke, like once you say it, once you take your finger off the chess piece, it's over. But like I said after the fact, it's our pod.
Yes, it is our pod. It is our pod.
And yeah, remember the Batman website though? I remember like we walked out of there and Jackson was like, "That was the best Batmobile chase I've ever seen," and I felt that. Or I don't know if I agree with that statement, but just being wrapped up in that moment, it's fun to think about.
It was a fun time in our lives. The world's only gotten worse since then.
That's true. But it's funny that both I was a little late to pick Parth up for this screening.
Let's not bring this up. It'll only fire me up.
I was a little late to pick Parth up. We walked in during the opening scene, probably around like second 30 of the movie, but Parth was pissed. And then during the Batman discussion, let's not waste time on what it was about. If you want to hear Parth and I have our biggest fight on air, listen to the Batman discussion.
That's true. That is our biggest fight on air, I believe.
Learn why we don't do discussions anymore. But actually, it's a different movie
that
caused us
like
to stop
totally
doing
not
discussions.
because of that episode. But
no. Go down the line and see where we stopped doing discussions. That'll be an investigation just for you.
But Trent, have we reached random department head?
The star or the wild card frame?
Yeah. Whose turn
Frames?
is it? Is it yours or mine?
You just took editor, or you have a second pick.
Oh, so I guess it's mine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with producer Molly Asher.
Okay. Oh, you got a producer. Is that our only producer option?
Well, we also this feels like cheating because we also interviewed producer Brendan Hubbard.
You're now boss.
My boss, to whom I am an assistant for. So, I sort of feel like that's a little bit of a cheat for me to choose him. Although I guess Jeff has also been my boss. So, whatever.
Okay, I thought you were gonna go wild and go to the sound department. But I'm glad you didn't step on my toes, because I'll take the Bodies, Bodies, Bodies composer Disaster piece.
Great.
So I remember really enjoying that score and enjoying our conversation with him, and just remember how cool it was to be like, how'd you come up with the movie, dude? Or how the music for the movie? How'd you come up with the titles for your songs for the blah, 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 for the soundtrack? And it was cool.
And that score, actually, because we play Bodies, Bodies, Bodies every now and then when our friends are hanging out, that score would be a constant. We would play that score, and it works very well when the lights are all off.
Yes, I like listening to that score in my free time. And two, he was humored by us telling him we play the game pretty regularly, along with our other game, Sardines. Even though we've gotten a bit older now, we often just sit around and watch TV. It's my final pick in the draft. And I know who I'm going to take, Parth.
Oh, dear.
It's going to hurt.
Let's hear it.
I've got a few.
Why don't we do two more? Fuck it. It's our podcast.
As we keep saying. Okay. Why not? Because I don't know how long we've gone so far, but I feel like we could buy another few minutes. For my next pick, I'll be going with... I need some bulk.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like I need some players for the... for the roster. And no better time than our biggest interview ever with storyboard artists of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Oscar Wright, Rob McCallum, and Danielle Davenport.
Wow. That was a big interview for us.
Parth, someone's got to plan the shots for the movie we're going to shoot. I know we don't have to really worry about the logistics of planning this. I almost was like, let's look up randomly generated movie plot But that we don't need to go that far. But someone's got to do the storyboards.
Someone's got to.
And now we've got a whole fucking team.
So is it my turn now?
It is. And we've changed the rules. So you have this pick and another.
And my final pick?
And then I get one more, and then...
Yeah, and then we outie?
Yeah, and then it's we outie.
Okay.
And then 5 years from now, we'll check in again.
Yeah. Well, the thing about making a movie is, it's like, you got a cinematographer that's shooting stuff, that's great. You got a production designer that's shooting the actors in the space, and that's great. But it's like, what are the actors wearing? It's an incredibly important part of the film. And for that, you got to go to Casey Storm, costume designer of Her, who we got to interview, who we did not interview him for this, but we have some cool anecdotes from this interview. He was the costume designer of Zodiac. Casey Storm, super cool guest. And it was really weird because this one time I rewatched Zodiac and then was like, fuck it, I'll watch some of the special features again. And then I saw him and I was like, whoa, there he is.
Yeah, I remember talking with him about like the futuristic fashion with Her and talking about, you know, the cyclical nature of fashion.
Two
and all that
generations.
stuff. Yeah, and he was like, we're going to be 2 generations away, so we're like a flip and a flip for fashion. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah. So, Trent, what's your big final pick?
I was sort of nervous as you were saying that, because during my prep, I was like, fuck. I almost, as we were rounding out, like, maybe we'd do categories, I was like, maybe we'll do costumes, and I was like, I think we've only done 1 costume designer. And then as you were saying that, I was like, my people are going to be fucking naked. But I know it's
or
not...
wearing their own clothes, you know.
I know, Stephen Tobolowsky could just show up to set ready to go. We
true.
could make a perfectly good movie that way. We've
he's
got
a pro.
talented people
He's a pro.
behind the camera. So, like, we're going to be good. I'll go Luca Mosca, costume designer of John Wick.
Go.
And who makes a, I would say more than a cameo, is, I don't know if he has
featured in a scene.
Featured in a
within
scene in
montage.
John Wick 2, where John Wick is, like, getting dressed and then has a tailor or whatever. And it's costume designer Luca Mosca. How fitting. A lot of our picks are from, like, the past 6 months, a little bit recency bias. But glad to give some shout-outs to some early episodes that sort of got the ball rolling.
Yeah, when you brought up storyboard artists, I almost was like, I'm going to go Kurt Vanderbash, our first ever interview.
Oh, that would be fun for sentiment's sake. But we've talked enough about Star Wars during this episode. Kurt Vanderbash, thank you so much. First interview ever.
Great interview. Well, I don't know that we were great, but he was great.
Agreed.
But
and fun fact, that was our first interview ever, so obviously something went wrong.
Something went horribly wrong.
And he left. Or, you know, we finished up with the long interview, and we were like, okay, thanks so much, you're free to go. And then he left, and then we learned quickly, as we do now, that the guest has to stay for a minute, or the files don't upload.
So we had to scramble for 30 minutes, frantically emailing him, being like, please come back, it didn't upload right. And then he did, you know, because he was nice. And everything turned out A-okay.
Yes, everything is still A-okay now.
Some could say even better than back then.
Yes, given I listened to the episode today, I really hope it's gotten better. I've certainly gotten nicer to you. I'm speaking a bit slower. I'm trying to use less big words. I from the episode I listened to today, I was like, he's saying words I don't even know now.
Wow.
So, like, what was I on?
What Trump 2 does to a man, you know?
Make me dumber by the day. It's the Instagram Reels, guys. Speaking of, no, we're not there yet.
No, we're basically there. I mean, like, this is the end, is it not?
This is the end. Me and my mom went to see Stephen Colbert yesterday, and his monologue had a lot to talk about because of all the Trump-Elon updates.
Oh, I'm sure he had stuff to say. It's funny that you brought your mom in the summer to come see Stephen Colbert, because that's exactly what I did 2 years ago.
Oh, who were the guests? Ours were Cynthia Erivo, and then the guy who wrote Andor.
Tony Gilroy. Oh, you were there for the Tony Gilroy episode?
Yeah, it was
that's
just
cool.
yesterday. It was cool.
Yeah, mine was Kerry Washington and some congressman, I think. But if I had come one day before, it was either one day before or one day after, I would have gotten Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold.
Arnold is fantastic. Craft services, fantastic production.
5 years podcast.
5 years, 5 stars. Go to your social media, Twitter, Instagram. Those are the 2 that we have. This is really getting you. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, that was funny. Soon you can just AI be like, okay, redo the voice, but like with Parth as Arnold the whole time.
Or you could just ask me to do it, and I'd probably do it for you.
Yeah, you'll just do it indefinitely. Parth,
it's fantastic.
Okay, before we wrap up, should we share our final basketball teams of people?
Yeah, let's do it.
Who's on our crew?
Trent, what's your...
Well,
or should I go first?
These feature films will be directed by Parth Marathe and me.
No.
Well, I just did random movie generator, and your movie will be called The Boss of It All.
Okay.
And my movie will be called Mr. Harrigan's Phone.
Wow. Well, I can kind of see Stephen Tobolowsky as a Mr. Harrigan.
Yes. So Stephen Tobolowsky as Mr. Harrison.
And Jeff White as the boss.
And Jeff White as the boss.
Yeah, so my movie, The Boss of It All, starring Jefferson White, DP'd by Drew Daniels, production designed by Ruth DeYoung, edited by William Hoy, produced by Molly Asher, and costume designed by Casey Storm. That's kind of a boss movie right there.
I hate to say it, you're kind of in a pretty good position. I mean, let's forget...
Trent, you are no slouch either.
Hey, thanks. But yeah, let's not forget to mention all the other valuable people who came on our show and were nice enough to give us their time and were great interview guests. We just picked some of our faves from over the years and wanted to share some fun moments. And also all respect to all the other jobs that we didn't mention. PAs, you're important too.
We've been lucky to have a wide variety of jobs, and we're lucky to at this point be in a place that we get to talk to some pretty high up people. But we were but nobodies 5 years ago, and we were lucky to have anyone talk to us, and we really truly do appreciate every single guest that said yes to being interviewed by 2 nobodies.
Two goofballs. Yeah, and like one of my favorite interviews ever that I wasn't able to pick, but like Doug Leffler, second unit director. I mean, who would have thought? But he was like, yeah, I know it's a second unit director. Like, I directed this scene. Yeah. Of like one of your favorite movies. So like that fucking cool shit can happen like that. And like When Harry Met Sally, like the person was like, yeah, that location canceled, so then I had to schedule us to go to the batting cage. So we learned some cool stuff over the years.
I do truly think we have a great roster of, our interviews may not always have met the quality of guests, but our guests have maintained a certain level of quality, I would like to think.
So Parth, you might have to help me with this because I didn't write it down in the same way. But in Mr. Harrigan's Phone, so Stephen Tobolowsky is Mr. Harrigan, Trent O'Gara directing. We have Oscar-winning cinematographer Lol Crawley, fresh off his Oscar win, is here to help on Mr. Harrigan's Phone. Production designing, we've got Sam Lysenko.
Yes.
Then editing the picture with 870 hours of live flight footage under his belt.
Which we don't know might make its way into Mr. Harrigan's.
It might be a long picture. Eddie Hamilton from Top Gun Maverick. And then I think my 2 wild cards were our biggest interview ever with Edgar Wright's brother, Oscar Wright, and then other storyboard artists, Rob McCallum and Daniel Davenport. Got myself the whole freaking department with one pick. That was cool. And then I didn't want Stephen Tobolowsky as Mr. Harrison to be in the nude. So you take Casey Storm, I take Luka Mosca as for costumes, babe.
These are movies that I feel very excited to watch. As much as our listeners should be excited to listen to these episodes, which, by happenstance drop, as the kids say, weekly on Sundays on all your major podcasting platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Stitcher, whatever, wherever you get your podcasts, honestly. Trent, if they want to be updated on these weekly droppings.
That's the perfect word for what we do here.
You know, if there were two social medias platforms to go to, which should they go to?
So if you want to go to a social media site owned by an evil person, we're on two of them. You got Instagram. That's the one that's ruining me personally. I find out about the Reels a few weeks after all the cool kids make their jokes on TikTok. I don't know if Parth still has the brain worm that is TikTok.
I don't. I haven't since January.
He's clean, babe. He said,
I'm 5 months clean.
He said, check me for marks. I'm clean.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No, but it's with TikTok. The other one, owned by a different evil person, X. But at least he's mad at the super duper evil super villain. If he's listening to this show or any of his representatives is a cool guy and
we love him, and I don't want to be deported. So,
and Parth, as we learned during the Muppets ranking episode, if there's any reason I don't want you to be deported, if there's one reason I can find, it's I don't want to have to do this alone.
Wow, isn't that just nice? And Trent, you'll never have to. So yeah, 5 years.
Yeah, that's what I was sort of wrapping my head around. Congrats. Parth, here's the thing. Okay, let's put this in perspective. You're
Please.
Batman.
Okay.
I'm the Joker.
Okay.
Here's why. We're forever jointed.
Mm-hmm.
Unstoppable force, immovable object. We're going to do this dance forever.
Right.
And here's why. You do the majority of the work. And I came up with the name. And
That's
for
true.
that reason, we forever cannot separate from one another.
Trent, you do more than just come up with the name. You're a great co-host. And
Thank you.
have enjoyed talking with you these past 5 years and hope to do it for more to come. Hope we can get paid for it soon though, you know.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, check us out next week. We'll have something cool.
Yeah, no, next week will be cool.
And if you listen to these podcasts with your girlfriend and you've only listened to one or two, just bring her back to listen to some more.
If your girlfriend steps into the next room, say, honey, get back here.
Yeah.
Bring her back.
Bring her back. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next week.
See you in 5 years. Bye-bye.